Hey guys, it's God Bars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 327th episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So today we get to talk about a personal favorite of mine, who happens to be the total package as an MC and artist, that being Boston's own Mr. Lif, with his amazing debut studio LP, 2002's I Phantom. This was someone I was initially introduced to through their affiliation with LP and Def Jux at large, putting him in the same camp as contemporary underground East Coast artists like Company Flow, Cannibal Ox, Aesop Rock, Murs, Cage, and RJD2, just to name a handful. Plus, this dude collaborated many times with Edon, another true titan of lyrical underground hip-hop that I find criminally overlooked. In fact, Mr. Lif was one of the very few guest appearances on Primitive Plus, Edon's debut studio full-length from the year 2000, which I reviewed a while back on the channel, and he appeared again on the 2005 follow-up Beauty and the Beat. What I was referencing earlier when I said how Lif is the complete package as a rapper is how his vocal tone, style, and delivery is totally idiosyncratic, and you'll never have an issue picking his voice out of a lineup. Not to mention he holds a clear reverence for graffiti and b-boy culture in his music, which was another quality he shared with many of the other MCs, who also participated in that Raucous Records early Def Jux era in the late 90s and early 2000s. But just like Koflo, these old school sensibilities made it obvious that Mr. Lif was a true student of the game and culture at large, yet the forward-thinking, experimental, and futuristic approach he would take on an LP like I Phantom is a clear indicator that this wasn't someone who was just comfortable recreating the music he grew up with. Instead, he weaved those influences in with his unique persona and sound, resulting in a batch of songs that lyrically could be argued as more relevant today than the time they actually came out in. Plus, he had the added benefit of insanely talented and unconventional producers who helped see this vision through and delivered a set of instrumentals that, just like most other Def Jux related output from this time, has hardly aged a day. There's plenty of killer beats on I Phantom, but arguably my favorite example comes at the very end of the record with the insanely underrated posse cut Post Mortem, which boasts so many impressive verses I have to share the majority of them here. And while I'm gonna pass over Acrobatic's killer contribution just to make time, that isn't to say he doesn't pull his weight on this song, because he definitely does, and Acrobatic actually is one half of the duo The Perceptionists alongside Mr. Lif. And in fact, I'm also going to hold off on the opening section from Lif, just because he had a dope closing verse that I slightly prefer. But getting to the bars I actually do want to share here, first up we have LP himself, who still had his breakneck, technical, and ambitious style on full display, rapping, "It was a gentle fission kiss on my block and hot light like a baby breathing sigh in her terrain. And now my name is merely last second of brain exist, before the final flash, where emotion and pretty details of the life I had passed. Now my warm night in Brooklyn is ash, falling from the snot of Lucy's that I choked on around the corner from class, before the moments when the moon can move fast. Another summer slowly growing with the friendships that would end with a blast. Or how the hours could so blissfully lag. She slid her tongue between my lips and I gasped. Told my dogs and they laughed. Now we're combining our cash at last, a pack of smokes in a flask. I hope there's liquor with a gas by the mask." Following him, we have the one other featured MC on this posse cut, the legendary Jean Grey, and frankly, it's nothing short of a crime that I haven't done a full-length review for that underground titan yet, but at least I can give a small snapshot of her unmitigated dopeness through this epic verse, which she kicks off with, "Convert to atheism, denounce God, pronounce religion dead, faith in nothing, trace my wrists with razors. I refuse to wait for the blaze to erase my spirit. Death, faced with it, run to it, not from it. Swallow all the pills in the medicine cabinet. Chase it with a bottle of 151, hug mommy. Head outside to smash windows and trash my hotel lobby. Rape a cripple if the time allows. I find a kid to hem up. I wish I'd done more sinning. Get a strap on, run up in some women. Lay in the middle of a highway, wait for pain to hit me. Steal all I can with people lootin', screamin' come and get me. Find the nearest pawn shop, biggest gun. Crowded street, blow my brains to hell, and go and let the devil come for me. Then, as I alluded to earlier, Lift takes the mic to close out this epic song. Then, as I alluded to earlier, Mr. Lift takes the mic to close out this track, and consequently the entire album, giving a phenomenal final performance where he says, "Our horizon was accessorizing, need bread, more need. Best believe it's the equation of greed. I need a new car and thus new brakes, another tune-up with lube. Whatever's put together shall be unscrewed. In times of famine, we made more food, food made more people. It's all explained within the cycle of evil. Would I trade it all? Cruising down the highway on a bright summer day, gazing out a plane to see the earth from miles away, watching the Patriots win the Super Bowl, grabbing that fumble from Ricky Prohl, or my stereo, providing me with rhythm and soul. I don't know. All I know is I feel guilt for every single thing I ever bought and sold. I should have been in more demonstrations, planted bombs in corporations, murdered CEOs and canceled TV shows, burned billboards and torn posters. I could have read more. Finally, I'll get to meet this God they left us dead for. And it's ill, its power to the form of a bill, for which people killed, lied, manipulated free will. Conscience will be their crucifix. The chopping block for poppycock, and I can feel our spirits drop upon these streets I oddly walk. Enough talk, here's my last chance to cherish a thought. My flesh is fully melted and my stomach's a knot. So to my love, I hated to leave you alone. Hard in my zone, passion took me places and my life was a poem. Baby, I was on my way home, about to catch a flight. Our meeting has dissolved in radiation and light. Love you gave me made me shine. You were gorgeous with a beautiful mind. You lifted my spirits and strengthened my spine. I'm at peace with my life, 'cause knowing you was divine. You made me see eternal beauty in a world that was dying. Now we're all ground by the grind. Out of luck and out of line, out of signs, and now we are out of time. While I already technically covered the bulk of the featured artists who show up on I Phantom through that one group song, we do get a couple of other guest appearances here, from some familiar faces like Aesop Rock and Insight. As for the groundbreaking production, while the vast majority of the beats are done by El Producto, Liff also enlisted some help from DJ Fax One, Edon, Uncommon NASA, who just went by NASA at the time, and once again, Insight. When it comes to the tracks I want to shout out as honorable mentions this time around, I'm going to recommend songs like A Glimpse at the Struggle, Status, New Man Theme, Success, The Now, Friends and Neighbors, Iron Helix, and Earth Crusher. Then with my overall top 3, I ultimately decided to go with Postmortem, Return of the B-Boy, and Live from the Plantation. Thank you for watching my 327th video. Next up, we have yet another legendary underground West Coast crew, who I've actually had a couple requests to cover in the past. So look for that episode, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what songs stuck out to you the most off this futuristic debut. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.